Hi, I'm Jessica Aiken, part of our growth team here at UpGuard. And today I want to share how our scanning engine continues to improve so you can stay on top of the latest trends. If you're not familiar, our scanning engine is core to the UpGuard platform. It continually monitors both your organization's external attack surface and all of your vendors. As part of our daily scanning, we now automatically identify over 23,000 different technology products that may be in use on a given IP. We call this detected products, and it's available to use today. The products we identify include things like network devices, JavaScript plugins, and hosting providers, all of which can pose different issues that need to be treated as part of your risk management program. With these new scanning enhancements, we are now collecting an additional 1.1 billion data points each day. Not surprisingly, we found that as companies get bigger, the number of technologies in use expands. For companies with under 500 employees, we found an average of 60 technologies. For companies with 500 to 1,000 employees, our automatic detection finds an average of 180 unique technologies. And for organizations with 1,000 to 5,000 employees, we detect an average of 560. In other words, as companies expand, technology sprawl gets worse, and the number of potentially unmaintained technologies increases. As you might expect, those technologies are not all used the same amount. For example, the cloud hosting market is concentrated in a few vendors. We typically see 50 to 70% of IPs for a given organization in one of the big three cloud computing companies. Conversely, there are many important products like VPN interfaces or file transfer appliances that are vital to track but may only be used on one IP address. Our scanning is effective at both ends of the spectrum, capturing common products across a footprint so you can ensure consistency and finding obscure technologies that are rarely used so they don't slip through the cracks. This product detection capability allows us to go beyond scanning for risk you have today to anticipating what may become a risk in the future. We know that malicious actors are actively developing vulnerabilities for network devices like VPNs. We've seen this in the past with Cisco, Juniper, Fortinet, and Avanti products. However, the nature of edge network devices is that they are supposed to be available to the internet, so we have to accept this risk. There is no way to prevent 0 days, but by cataloging all of the potentially targeted products across your attack surface, you can respond more quickly. Beyond software vulnerabilities, there are other cases where a piece of information only becomes a risk in the context of your environment. For example, it's not a risk if one of your IPs is hosted in AWS, but if everything else is running in Azure, it might indicate a violation of your IT policies. More broadly, the use of any given vendor is not inherently bad. However, you do want every vendor your organization uses to pass through your vendor risk management program. Comparing your automatically detected vendors to those you are monitoring in vendor risk ensures your program is operating as expected. If you don't already have that vendor inventory, the Detective Products feature makes it easier than ever to get started by suggesting technology vendors you are already using. One way to begin is look for the vendors most commonly used, like a cloud hosting provider, and start monitoring them. Alternatively, you might search for your most critical vendors, like those that allow remote access to your network, and start there. In a few minutes, you can build up a list of vendors you want to assess, and then start using UpGuard's other tools, like previously completed questionnaires shared through the Trust Exchange, to satisfy your vendor risk requirements. We look forward to hearing how Detective Products helps you to keep up to date with the various technologies being used by your organization. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to get in contact with our support team.